We're trying to work on a kid and build him up. Stone Cold Steve Austin is not the first victim you feed him, I'm the last.
He took his ball and went home, and obviously, I'm pissed off.
The unofficial end of Steve Austin's full-time wrestling career concluded one of the most chaotic days of TV tapings in company history, with Austin after a full weekend of negotiations over the creative plans for Raw on Monday night, including 2 phone conversations with JR and Vince McMahon, ending up walking out again to fly from Atlanta back home to San Antonio in the second time in the past 3 months of him not showing a TV taping unannounced after the Raw in Montreal on March 18, resulting in the entire Raw script for the night, which was set to feature Austin all over the show in 5 separate segments, including the main event against Brock Lesnar with Eddie Guerrero as special referee, being rewritten on the spot, with a furious McMahon taking drastic measures to change the entire direction of the company's main storyline, with the brand split in an almost unprecedented situation resembling to a lesser extent the cancellation of all plans to run WCW as a separate brand right after the crowd's reaction to the Booker vs. Bagwell match in Tacoma last July, with Vince showing up on Raw as a major surprise to confront Flair and challenge him to put his 50% ownership on the line in a match for full control of the company, blowing off the Vince vs. Flair draft angle in a few hours' notice, with Vince who took several shots at Austin during the promo to bury him as part of the storyline with Flair and legitimately for not showing up to his advertised appearance in front of the Atlanta crowd, looking to shift the company's product in a new direction starting on the night with the realization that Austin's days as a full-time performer, which the Raw brand was built around, are over for the foreseeable future, while also putting major question marks on the future of the brand extension idea after going from the originally planned ideal scenario of the almost consensus top 4 wrestlers in history in Rock Hogan and Austin Flair each leading the 2 brands to now within weeks facing the situation of the 2-man in Rock and Austin, who were targeted to carry the split rosters concept for the past year, being permanently off the TV product and road schedule at a crucial time, with a strong possibility of them never working a full-time schedule ever again. Three days before the Austin situation escalated to new heights, Vince McMahon was on the same program that got the ball rolling over the week for a heavily hyped State of the Company interview on Bite This on Friday, addressing Austin's comments saying that he is the most demanding performer he has ever worked with and sometimes you have to produce gold albums instead of platinum, along with the past several months of major changes in the company, from the brand split to the name change and the recent business decline that resulted from it, saying that the company is in a state of flux while adapting to the new direction coming off the peak of the recent boom period, with him foreseeing a tidal wave of a new creative and branding direction in the near future, noting the business drops since the brand split that accelerated across the board since the name change, saying that house show attendance is affected in large part by TV viewership being down for both Raw and SmackDown, with less people exposed to the product as compared to the recent past, responding to talks of the company making a mistake with the move from the USA Network to TNN, saying that their deal with Viacom included much more than just the 2 hours of Raw on Monday night, with the company making the deal to benefit from being under the overall Viacom umbrella as opposed to it being just a straight swap from USA to TNN. Asked about potential regret from allowing Rock to venture into Hollywood with him now losing him as a full-time performer, saying that there's no regret and it's been a massive success for Rock and the company, which in the process opened the door for the upcoming WWE film division about to launch in the near future, saying that he prefers the WWF name and they still didn't concede defeat, with the company appealing the court decision with hopes of going back to it if possible, tying the recent ratings decline to questions about bringing back Vince Russo as a TV writer to the company, noting that it was not under consideration but they have an open-door policy under the right circumstances, closing the interview with McMahon's first public comments on the upcoming debut of the NWA TNA company on June 19, questioning their weekly pay-per-view model due to them asking viewers to pay $9.95 a week for a 2-hour broadcast when they can already watch 4 hours of WWE television for free with the highest caliber of talent and production quality in the industry. with Raw's first hour on the night picking up strong to average over 5.6 million viewers in the most watched 9 to 10 p.m. hour in over a month. Opening the second hour with Eddie Guerrero vs. Van Dam after being involved in the peak segment of the night on Raw in the past 2 weeks, being put again in a main time slot to go 10 minutes at the top of the hour to a 4.4 rating, followed by Undertaker coming out to continue the angle with the Hardys from last Monday as his Raw program while hyping the Triple H pay-per-view title match for King of the Ring in 13 days. Outside the Flair vs. McMahon main event coming up in 30 minutes, the other match created out of the chaos of the past several hours saw Brock Lesnar, instead of facing Austin in the main event, working another singles match against his recent programmed opponent with Bubba Dudley in a King of the Ring qualifying match, with the company after rewriting the show in the afternoon already having the Bubba vs. Lesnar match graphic ready in the usual Raw preview on TNN minutes before the show went on the air, with Lesnar after already getting the chance across the country due to the clear presentation similarities, getting big Goldberg chants throughout the match in Goldberg's hometown of Atlanta, seeing Brock going over to advance to the King of the Ring tournament on the pay-per-view in the same result originally set for the Austin main event, just with Eddie Flair and Benoit interfering for the finish, with Austin after headlining his final ever house show tour as a full-time wrestler over the weekend with a singles match against Eddie on June 7 followed by 2 cage matches against Flair in the next 2 days, after months of creative clashes with the creative team leading to his public criticism the previous week, feeling that perhaps he's being intentionally sabotaged as a response, with a similar situation coming up right after the first time he walked in March with his first house show tour back, seeing him unusually losing to a heel Undertaker in 3 back-to-back nights in a rare situation in the WWF for the top babyface on the tour and non-title matches, with Raw's second top segment of the night seeing Shawn Michaels opening the final quarter with his promo explanation on joining the NWO last Monday, cutting a work-shoot promo on how he gave his life for the company and the crowd for over a decade throughout some of its toughest times, only for it to replace him with Austin after WrestleMania 14, saying that the company then put the promotional machine behind Austin with the Attitude rebranding campaign when he was Attitude before it was a catchphrase, while getting another line that stirred things up based on the real-life perception, saying that Rock stole the spotlight from Triple H just as Austin tried to steal it from him, ending up with him turning on Booker to kick him out of the NWO, with the segment gaining over 700,000 viewers to the peak quarter of the night 4.5 rating. SmackDown owner Vince McMahon vs. Raw owner Ric Flair, with 100% control of the company on the line and perhaps the biggest match stipulation currently in the business that was thought to be built for the majority of a year into a headline match on a major pay-per-view, was instead put on the Raw main event on the night with a few hours notice and the revamped script for the show rewritten shortly before the broadcast went on the air, seeing McMahon and Flair coming out at 10:57 p.m. to go 9 minutes into the overrun in a no-holds-barred rematch of their Royal Rumble pay-per-view match in January, taking place in the same venue at the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, seeing the big main event drawing a peak 4.7 rating with over 6.6 million viewers in the most watched segment on a Raw broadcast in over a month, driving Raw's overall second hour back into the 6 million viewers range for the first time since May 6, with the show getting a strong viewership boost over the recent average to an over-a-month high total of over 5.8 million viewers, ending up with Brock Lesnar as originally planned but under different circumstances playing a key role in the main event of the night to cost Flair the match, with McMahon taking back full control of the company for the first time since last November, with the consequences of the events of the past several hours on and off screen legitimately and in storyline are set to be known over the next week.